Yo, 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 it's your boy RG the Brooklyn Savage, and I'm flying solo today because TK is busy watching some stardom, man. But here's the situation. So we recorded our year-end awards, our first ever DRGN Chronicle year-end awards, and it was a good show. Everything was all good, it was all dandy, but the audio issues were a problem. So, long story short, I logged back into my computer and I go to record the show. It made me sign back into my Riverside account, which we used to do the show. Shout out to them. And everything was default. And Jackson said that the audio sounded like a machine was running in my background. I'm like, dude, there's nothing running in my background, man. It's literally just me and you. And we recorded the show. It was a good show, a really good show. I think you guys would have enjoyed it. So me and him get off. We get off of here from recording, and I listen back to everything because I do a lot of quality control and everything like that. I want to make sure everything is good. And then all of a sudden, the audio was very choppy, not clear. It was just very bad. So I'm here to do the Dragon Chronicle year in awards, and I will be making the selections for both Jackson and myself. So yeah, we have a couple of categories here, and we're just gonna run them down just like this. And we have a few here, but the first category is company MVP, meaning the guy that's been the MVP of certain companies, this, that, and the other. And Jackson, he limited it to AEW, WWE, and New Japan Pro Wrestling as far as this is concerned. So his choices were Zack Sabre Jr. for New Japan Pro Wrestling, John Moxley for AEW, and John Cena for WWE. That's his choices. Now, my choices for New Japan Pro Wrestling was Zack Sabre Jr. as well, because, I mean, he was one of the main guys. While I'm not a favorite, but he was one of the few guys that was able to really carry the company on his back when they really needed somebody stable. My company MVP for AEW as well, upon reflection again, is John Moxley, whether you like the guy or not. And look, he's turned it around since losing the championship. His matches have been enjoyable again. He's been fun. So I got to give him his credit there. And then John Cena, of course, for WWE. Without him, WWE would have been. So that's just the way I see it and then think about it. Wrestling match of the year for men. Jackson's choice was John Cena versus Cody Rhodes at SummerSlam. My choice was John Cena versus AJ Styles at Clash of Paris. So yeah, once again, Jackson, Cody Rhodes versus John Cena at SummerSlam, and myself, John Cena versus AJ Styles at Clash in Paris. Wrestling women's match of the year for the women. Jackson went for Rhea, Bianca, and Io at WrestleMania for the World Women's Championship. I went with Rhea Ripley and Io Sky a couple of months later at Evolution 2 for the World Women's Championship. So yeah, that's what I'm going with that. Most improved company. Jackson went with New Japan Pro Wrestling. I went with TNA Impact based off the attendance, them getting a TV deal. So I went with TNA. Wrestler of the year for the men. Jackson went wild with this one. And he went with Obafemi. And I love Obafemi. I mean, Jesus, he's great. But I went with Konosuke Takeshita. Takeshita is one of my favorite wrestlers in the world. I think he's been putting in the work, not only for AEW, but for New Japan Pro Wrestling, for Maple Leaf Pro, and DDT. So, yeah, Konosuke Takeshita is my wrestler of the year for the men. And for the women, the wrestler of the year for the women, Jackson went with Mercedes Moné. I went with Toni Storm. So, there you go. Champion of the year for the men, Jackson went with Konosuke Takeshita. I went with Obafemi. And Obafemi has been a dominant NXT champion. Lost the belt a couple months ago and regained it back. So it's like he never really left or lost it at all. Champion of the year for the women. Jackson has Saya Kamatani, which, she's had a big year for Stardom. Me, myself, personally, I went with Toni Storm again. Toni Storm's had a great championship run in AEW. I would have considered Io Sky, but she didn't have any matches during her run. Her run was a blur. Rhea Ripley barely defended her championship, and she had it. Naomi never got a chance to defend it. Tiffany Stratton only defended it against, it seemed like, Nia Jackson and Jade Cargill for the most part. So that's automatically disqualification for her. So yeah, I went with Toni Storm because I thought Toni Storm just had a really good year with the championship, and she helps raise the bar as far as entertainment factor and storylines and wrestling. So, and sex appeal too. So I'm just saying. And tag team of the year, Jackson and I both agreed. Bro Dito. I mean, WWE had something nice with the SmackDown tag team division, but they fumbled it. And Raw's tag team division is non-existent. TNA barely has a tag team division. NXT barely has a tag team division. AEW's tag team division, they got a good one, but it's like they don't bring all the pieces together and showcase them like they should, to be quite honest with you, in my opinion. But I think Bro Dito was the best out of a bunch, so I'm gonna go with Bro Dito, and Jackson went with Bro Dito as well. Faction of the year, Jackson went with Hate from Stardom. I went with Death Riders because Jon Moxley, and look, they're not my favorite faction at all, but I'm looking at the factions and break it down for a lot of people that don't understand. Look at WWE, the White Six, barely non-existent, even though they're tag team champions. MFTs, forget about it. Come on, dog. Solo Sikoa leading the rest of the guys to the march. Judgment Day is just Liv Morgan was injured. JD McDonough has been injured. Finn Balor start-stop stuff. Dominic Mysterio is the only guy that's been consistently over and doing things in that group. Division, it was just Seth Rollins and the boys for a while. Now they're trying to establish Braun Breaker as an alpha, but it still doesn't constitute faction of the year, in my opinion. Then we go over to TNA. The System, give me a break. Order 4. I like Big Man. I like Ali. The Good Hands are just, and Tasha Steelz is, yeah. Who else is in TNA? Who's another faction in TNA? I think that's pretty much it. The Order 4 and the System. Oh, and the Rascals. The Rascals are a good faction, but they had an underwhelming year. Besides Vince winning the X Division Championship, holding that for a bit into this year. It's been a very non-existent year for the Rascals. I do enjoy them, though. They're my favorite faction in TNA. But they didn't have a good year. And I think Trey was out for most of it anyway, so it was mostly Myron and Wentz like teaming up here and there. So we'll see what the Rascals do now that all 4 of them are back together. So we'll see. But NXT Dark State, give me a break. The 3 guys are green. The one guy that can wrestle, they don't let him wrestle. So it's just blah. Who else do you have? AEW, Don Callis family is for me, Takeshita, Okada, Fletcher, and Alexander, if they pushed him a little bit harder, and Hechicero, the rest can go to hell as far as I'm concerned. I gotta go with the Death Riders, though. As much as I don't want to, because the Don Callis family, the losers of that group outweighs the stars in that group, whereas the Death Riders, Marina Shafir is starting to get a push. Claudio Castagnoli is the CMLL Grand Campeon. Moxley's been world champion most of the year. Pac's been putting on great matches and everything like that, and totally has evolved his look and character, I guess. And the inclusion of Garcia, which I think will do Garcia some good. And Wheeler Yuta is there too. So I'm gonna have to go with the Death Riders here. The Dreadful Company of the Year. Jackson and I both went with WWE because WWE has been absolutely boring and bull doo doo all year long, and John Cena is not here to prop them up next year. So I think WWE's gonna have a little bit of a fall, a little bit of a slide, if you will, next year, and they're gonna have to turn it around. They're gonna have to really come out swinging starting now. John Cena's not here anymore. You can't use his name. We gotta really get the ball rolling on a lot of different people on this roster. They're gonna have to start pushing some of these young guys. You got Javon on his way up. You got Obafemi on his way up. You got Trick Williams on his way up. You got to do something with these guys immediately. None of that sit around and wait, trying to test the temperature for 2 whole fucking years. You can't afford to do that, Triple H. You got to strike while the iron is hot now with these guys. So I'm going to go with WWE as the worst. And Jackson went with WWE as the worst. The best, we're gonna have to give it to AEW. Jackson and I, we're not cheerleaders for the AEW like a lot of other people are. I don't hate AEW either. I'm just a guy that's kind of neutral. I enjoy what I enjoy, and that's it. I don't cheerlead for anybody. I just tell it like it is. I calls it like I see it. Once again, I calls it like I see it. If something's silly to me, something's silly to me. If something's good to me, then something's good to me. If something's lackluster to me, then it's lackluster to me. I mean, I'm not a guy who's a hater. I just call it like I see it. And once again, WWE's had a lackluster year. You take Cena's retirement away, lackluster year. Uninspired creative, safe booking, nothing happening. These long, every match has got to be 15 to 20 minutes on these shows with no real motion or anything like that. Triple H's fear of beating anybody, it's just ridiculous. It gets on my fucking nerves, and I think that we have to get away from that in 2026. We gotta take some fucking risks, okay? And that's what they're gonna have to do. But AEW is the best company this year. AAA and CMLL are right underneath there for me. And the only reason why they aren't is because AEW is on American TV at a consistent clip, and those two products are not. But I do enjoy, personally, I enjoy them more than I do AEW, CMLL. Just a lot of great workers and a lot of great, interesting characters on the show. And AAA, underneath the WWE banner, has become one of my new favorite watches because before then, I was not a big AAA fan. I had my favorites from the company, but I'm enjoying every time they go live on the YouTube. I'm really enjoying it. So I'm having fun with it. I hope they do big business on Fox, on the Mexican Fox channel, because I really want AAA to be successful underneath the WWE banner. So yeah, I'm gonna throw in something that we didn't do the other day, but I'm going to throw in a little category here, a little fun thing. People I would love to see on TV at a consistent clip in 2026. Now, I was gonna say High End and Maya World the other day, but they got signed to AEW, so there's no need to include them on this. And this is not necessarily one of those things where I want to see them in AEW or WWE. I just want to see them on TV. It doesn't matter where, as long as they're getting used and this, that, and the other. I would love to see Charles Mason of House of Glory fame and GCW fame be on television this year wrestling. The guy is a great promo. I know he's if you're going by old wrestling tropes and what old promoters look for, he's not a big sizable guy, but he's a guy that's tapped into that whole Patrick Bateman-esque American Psycho type character he's got going on there. And he's a great talker. He looks like a sick fuck, and he's a great wrestler too. I think he deserves to be on television. I really would. I really would love to see him on TV. Alexander Hammerstone. Why this guy has not already been on TV? I know he was in TNA, but that was real brief. He was injured, and then he came back, lost a bunch of matches, and then checked out and went back to MLW. He should be wrestling on TV. He's a great talker. He's a good worker. He looks great. I don't know if I love Hammerstone, but I don't know if he's gonna pass a. I don't know if he's gonna pass the physical. I mean, but I mean, if he can, get whatever he's got out of his system and pass a goddamn physical, then I would love to see him on TV wrestling, man, because he's really good. He's really good, and he's a great big man that can move and that can work and has power moves and does his own unique thing in that ring. So he's a guy I would love to see sign in 2026. Also, his old running mate in the dynasty, Richard Holiday, another guy who's he's a big guy, could talk, can work. He doesn't blow you away with any crazy offense, but I think he's a really good wrestler and he's a good talker. And he's the rich guy, kind of like MJF, but he's snobby, uppity rich guy. Whereas MJF is asshole rich guy, like blatant asshole rich guy. Whereas he's undercover, like uppity asshole, rich guy. As far as like some of the women go, I would love to see Bozilla on American TV. I really would. I would love to see I'm trying to think here off the top of my dome. Who else would I love to see on TV? I would love to see Zilla Fatu make a debut on television. Because I think he's learning at a nice clip, and I want to see what he can do on a bigger stage. I start small with him though to make sure he's got it. But yeah, I would love to see him on TV. I would love to see Josh Bishop on TV too. I think he's a great big man too. He kind of reminds me of Psycho Sid a little bit with the hair and everything. He's a monster, man. I'd love to see him on TV. My man Calvin Tankman, I would love to see him on TV again. Well, not even again, but I would love to see him on TV. I would love to see him wrestling again because he was in the MLW a few years back. Like he was getting a push, and then all of a sudden he just disappeared or whatever. But I would love to see Tankman on TV. I think he's a really good big man wrestler. I would love to see him and Willie Mack go at it too. Have they ever had a Willie Mack Calvin Tankman match? Because I would love to see it. And if they have it, I must admit it must have flew over my head, but I would love to see it. But yeah, that's certain guys I would love to see wrestling on TV this year that don't have any contracts from any company that's on television. So a wrestling company I would love to see more of. I want to see what TNA can do with this deal. I think TNA needs to go hit the market for younger talent that ain't signed to WWE and AEW. I think that they need to really, really take advantage of the fact that they have this TV deal and go for the stars and stop relying on a lot of the veterans and start to really appreciate the young guys, because guess what? WWE and AEW are going to be waiting. I mean, WWE already took Joe Hendry from you, and I have no doubts that they're going to look to take Leon Slater from them too. And I have no doubts that AEW is also going to be lurking for some guys too. So you better start treating those young guys right. Shit. I would like to see more of the fourth rope from West Side Gun, his group. I want to see more of them. I think they have something nice and gritty going on there, and I want to see more from them. It's a shame what happened with him and WWE. I hope they can work that out. I really do, instead of trying to break down the who's, the what's, and the whys. I hope they can really work that out though and smooth that out, because he's a wrestling fan and he meant no harm with a lot of the stuff that has been pointed out to me. He meant no harm. He's just a wrestling fan and he's happy to be a fan. So I hope they can really smooth that out. But I want to see more from his group though. Fourth rope. I think they, like I said, a lot of a good piece of culture, urban culture, mixed with wrestling and everything like that. And I think that's smooth. I want to see what AEW, or not AEW, but I want to see what MLW does now that they're local here in South Carolina. I want to see what they can do and how they can really, really push forward and see what they can spread out, because that show I went to was really fun, and I want to see them do more of that. When they come back, or just throughout the year. They're gonna have the Battle Riot in Florida, down in Florida this year, so that should be fun. But I want to see them pop out and do more. I really do. I really do. I want to see how Gabe Sapolsky could take Evolve, how far he could take that as well, because I think he's doing a good job of showcasing certain talents. I wish he would do more with others, but that's just a personal preference. Um, I mean, that's more of a personal taste to myself more than anything. Kind of like, me getting frustrated with Tony Khan not using certain guys to the best of their ability, in my opinion. And same thing with Triple H as well, too. So we're always going to have that opinion whenever we think our favorites are not getting what they deserve or what they work for or this, that, and the other. You know what I'm saying? We just want our favorites to do well and prosper. And I'd apply that here with Gabe as well. And I'm also looking forward to seeing what Triple A would do with their deal and everything like that, and how they look underneath the WWE banner heading into 2026. Because it's been fun. It's been a fun ride. Iguana's been fun. Hamburguesa's been fun. La Parker's been fun. La Toxica's has been fun. I think they need to beef up that women's division though with some more Latinas, or just some workers in general. Some girls they ain't using in WWE. I think they should, throw them over there. I like that Natty's over there. I like that Lola Vice's over there getting reps. So that's good. But send more. Send more. And I hope that Omos gets something at a consistent clip over there now that he's going to be a part of this I faction. So that's going to be fun. And I'm looking forward to seeing what Pro Wrestling Noah does as well. I think I'm looking forward to all the promotions and seeing what they do in 2026. I think I need to just go ahead and say that. But Pro Wrestling Noah intrigues me the most because I want to see who else they can nab from New Japan now that a lot of people are leaving New Japan. Like Bushi and Naito, they're on their way to Noah. Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson are over there. So it's interesting. Kenta went back over there. So it's gonna be interesting to see how good of a year Pro Wrestling Noah. It's gonna be interesting to see if they can crank out a good year, rather. And I hope they can. I hope they can. And what else? Dragon Gate 2. I want to see what they can pop up this year too. I think people sleep on Dragon Gate in all Japan heavily. And of course, Barry Gold and Stardom. I'm gonna make it my mission to watch more Stardom this year. And I'm also gonna make it my mission to watch a little bit more of TJPW as well. So yeah, man. I wanna get more tapped in because between Kodak and Jackson and Savannah and Paigey, shout out to all of them. Like sometimes they'll have these conversations about certain Japanese women's wrestling and stuff like that, and I know the names, but I don't know the storylines. I don't know this, that, and the other, and it's just like, ooh, I'm not even gonna pretend. So, but yeah, I want to get more into that, get more fine tuned in that. So yeah, I'm looking forward to a fresh start for a lot of these companies in the new year and see what they can cook up, man. But definitely more intrigued by what AAA does underneath the WWE banner, especially when they get that Fox deal, TNA, what they do in the next year, and West Side Gun and his group, the Fourth Rope. I want to see what they do as well. So, yeah, without further ado, I ain't gonna hold you much longer. It's your boy RJ, the Brooklyn Savage, on the behalf of Jackson. We bid you a farewell. Catch you guys later. Peace out.